Good morning, students. We'll start now.
Good
Uh,
morning, sir.
yes. So we are currently studying conditional statements, and so far we have covered simple if statement. That means if statement without else, then if else statement, then else if ladder, right? And for each of these types, we are discussing these 3 points. So we are seeing its syntax, then flowchart and program, right? So we have seen the example of if statement, its syntax and flowchart, then if else, right? Okay, and we have seen the program based on else if ladder, right?
Yes, sir.
Else if ladder, this one, right? So here we are declaring score variable, and based on the value of score, we are assigning either grade A, B, C, D, and F, right? Or F. So here we have seen that we can specify multiple conditions, okay, and only one branch will be executed, either this branch or this branch or this, and if all the conditions evaluates to false, then by default else block will be executed. Okay. Okay, and let us see the flowchart of this else if ladder. I think we have discussed the syntax. Yes, we have discussed the syntax and the program. Flowchart is remaining. So flowchart of the else if ladder. Now recall its working. So we have a if, okay, and we specify the condition here, right, in bracket. So let's call this condition as condition 1, because there is going to be different conditions, right? Multiple conditions. And this is our block 1, let's say block 1. So based on this, we are going to prepare our flow chart. So this is my if. Then suppose I want to evaluate or check a second condition, I have to write else if, right? So this is my condition 2, condition 2, and let's call this as block 2. This is block 2. Okay, and then you can have n number of such if else ifs. Okay, then it will be condition 3, condition 4, and so on. And finally, if all the conditions evaluates to false, okay, false means you will skip that block, right? So if condition 1 is false, then block 1 is skipped, condition 2 is false, block 2 is skipped, okay, and so on. If all conditions are false, then else block will be executed by default. Okay, so this is my else block. Okay, so we know that for the condition we have to use the diamond shape, right? So before this if else, there could be some statements, okay, statements. Then so our program flow will come to this statement, this statement will be executed, then we have this if, right? So here you have to evaluate this condition, you have to check the result of this condition. Okay, so this is my condition 1. Okay, now this is a boolean expression, so it will either evaluate to true or false. Okay, so if this is false, let's say it is false, then what will happen? It is false means block 1 is skipped and you have to evaluate condition 2. So here you have to evaluate condition 2 question mark. Okay, again if this is false, then what will happen? You have to continue, right? Okay, and ultimately if all are evaluated to false, then by default there will be a else block. Okay, so else block will be executed. Else block. Now, if this condition 2 evaluates to true, okay, if this is true, then you have to execute block 2. Okay, so this here block 2 will be executed. Block 2. If this condition evaluates to true, then what happens? Block 1 will be executed, right? This one will be executed. Block 1. Okay. Now after this if else, okay, there will be else if ladder, there will be some statement. Okay. So after the execution of any block, that statement will be executed. Okay. So after this, you will have a next statement, right? That next statement will be executed. Next statement. Okay. After this also, we'll jump to next statement. Okay. So only one branch will be executed, that you remember, and based on the condition. If all the condition evaluates to true, else block will be executed. So take a screenshot of this. So this is a flowchart of else if ladder. Done. Okay. Next concept is
Excuse me, sir.
yes.
Sir, some people are waiting to join the request.
You have to join within 2 minutes.
Sir, they was having internet issue. That's all.
Okay. So we have discussed simple if. Where is this? Okay. Now next, the last one is nested if else. Okay. Nested if else. Nesting means what? Nesting in terms of programming language. Anyone?
Functions inside the
If
functions.
statement in the
Yes. The entity within the same entity. Okay. If inside another if. Okay. That is known as nesting, right? So I can, means given a condition, given a scenario, sometimes we have to use if inside another if. Okay. The best example will be finding the greatest between three numbers. Okay. So we'll be discussing that. So when you write if inside another if, that phenomena is known as the nesting of if else. Okay, similarly you can have the nesting of loops, nesting of function calls actually. Okay, we don't write function inside a function, we call a function inside another function. Okay, so if else. Okay, now I can have, so this is my if, right? Inner if, this is inner if, this is outer if. Now for this inner if, I can write the else, right? So this else will be associated with the nearest if. Okay, this else will not be a part of this if. It will be a colleague of this if. Okay, and we know that else will not have a condition. Okay, so here I am writing if inside of another if. This outer leaf may have its associated else, right? Now this else is 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 a part of this this if. Okay, now inside this else also I can write another if. Okay, so this will be my condition number 3. Okay, now for this inner if I can have its associated else. Okay, now let's define this block. So this is my block 1. Okay, or I can say if block, inner if block. This is my block 2. Here also I can have some statements. Okay, or I can have statements here also. Now you tell me, can I write statements here between if and else?
No, sir.
No.
No.
So one is saying no. Okay, anyone with else?
Sir, can you please repeat the question?
Yes. Now I'm saying that I can have statement before this inner if. Okay. Similarly, I can have statement after this else. Can I have statements here between this if and else?
No, sir.
No. Yes. This if and else. Okay. If and its associated else should be consecutive. Okay. There should be no statement between it. Okay, if you write some statements before else, then this else will be without if. Okay, it will be a dangling else. Okay, इसको कोई associated if नहीं रहेगा. Okay, so they should be adjacent. Okay, immediately after the if block you have to write the else block. Okay, there is will be no statement between this if and else. Similarly, I can have statements here and here. Okay, this is my condition 3. Okay, so everything is fine, right? So if condition 1, if condition 2, block 1, block 2. So this is my block 3 and this is my block 4. Now let us draw a flow chart for this. Okay, so this is my if else. Okay, so I have my nested if else here. Now let us draw a flow chart. So we will have the statement before this if. Okay, so this is my normal statement. Then I'm entering in this if else nesting. Okay, so I have a condition 1. So it will be evaluated. So let us put a diamond. Okay, so this is my condition 1. So I will write C1 only. So condition 1. Now it will either evaluate to true or false. So this is my true branch and this is my false branch. Now if it is true, then I'm going to go inside this outer if, right? So this is my true block, right? Okay, so I'm going to perform this statement. Okay, this statement will be performed. Then I have condition 2. Okay, so I'll be checking that condition. Okay, of course there will be a statement here. Okay, but I'm not writing that in a flow chart. Okay, so then I have to evaluate condition 2. Okay, now it again may have true and false, right?
Yes, sir.
Then if it is true, then block 1 will be executed. Okay, so block 1 will come here. If it is false, then which one?
Block 2. Block
Block 2.
2.
Block 2. Similar thing will happen to the right side part, right? If it is false, if the condition 1 is false, then we will skip this true block and we will jump inside this outer else, right? Here we will evaluate these statements. After that, we have condition 3. Okay, so we have to evaluate condition 3 if it is false, if this C1 is false. So condition 3. Now again this condition will, it is a boolean expression, right? So it will either give us true or false. Now if it is true, then if condition 3 is true, then block 3 will be executed. So block 3. Then if it is false, block 4. Okay, after execution of all these blocks, then what will happen? So we'll be having some statement after this nested if else, right? That statement, so let us call that statement as next statement. So next statement will be executed. Okay, so we'll be writing a classic example of this nested if else, that is finding the greatest between three numbers. Okay, here also only one branch is executed, right? Either true or false. Then inside this we have the inner if else. Okay, here also either block 1 or block 2, not both, right? Okay, that's it. So this is my flowchart for nested if else. So let me put the heading nested if else. Now you tell me whether is it compulsory to write this else or this else.
No, sir.
No, okay. Else is never means else will be never compulsory. Okay, it will be optional part. Okay, and is it compulsory to write? So I have this nested if else here. Okay, so if I write nested if else here in the if block, outer if block, is it compulsory to write if else here inside the else?
No.
No, right? As per the requirement, you have to decide where to put the inner if else. Okay? I repeat my statements. Okay. So this is the means complete syntax. Okay. So I am writing the if, then inside that I have some statements, then if else. Okay. Then outer else. Then inside that also I have written if else. Okay. But यहाँ पे याद रखिए else कभी भी कंपलसरी नहीं रहेगा. एज पर द रिक्वायरमेंट यू हैव टू यूज द एल्स. ओके, और ये भी पार्ट जो इनर इफ एल्स लिख रहे हैं इट विल बी बेस्ड ऑन द सिनेरियो. ओके, जो भी आपका रिक्वायरमेंट है उसके बेसिस पे आपको इफ एल्स लिखना है. ओके, समटाइम्स वी राइट इफ एल्स, इनर इफ एल्स इन द इफ ब्लॉक. ओके, समटाइम्स वी राइट इन अ एल्स ब्लॉक. ओके, समटाइम्स वी राइट इन बोथ. ठीक है, तो ये कंपल्सरी नहीं रहेगा, ये याद रखिए. ठीक है, सो टेक अ स्क्रीनशॉट ऑफ दिस. सो दिस इज द फ्लो चार्ट फॉर नेस्टेड इफ एल्स. Okay, so let us write a program to find the greatest between three numbers. Okay, so this is our sixth program, program 6, greatest. Okay, extension should be Java. Okay, so I will directly start with my if and else. Okay, so consider we'll build it from the scratch. So let's say I have A, B, C variables and I'm storing the greatest in G. Okay, now I can have this numbers in ABC 12, 15 and 18. Okay, consider this example. If A is greater than, if A is greater than B. Okay, so इसको greater कर देते हैं, that is let's say 21. Okay, now so if a greater than b, then we have to check whether a greater than c or not. Okay, so if this is true, then we have to check whether this a is greater than c also. ओके, इन दैट केस, ओके, सो अगर ये ट्रू होता है तो दैट मीन्स ए इज ग्रेटर देन बी. इफ दिस इज ऑल्सो ट्रू, दैट मीन्स ए इज ग्रेटर देन बी एंड सी ऑल्सो, राइट? सो जी, आई कैन असाइन जी एज ए, right? No problem, right? Now if let's say this is 25. ओके, अब क्या हुआ था, ये केस था, ठीक है? तो 21 ग्रेटर देन 15, यस, देन वी हैव चेक 21 ग्रेटर देन 18, यस, देन greatest is 21, yes. But what if this c is 25? What will happen? So see, 21 greater than 15, yes, true. So we'll check 21 greater than 25, false, right? Then that means this 25 is the greatest, right? So can I write else here?
Yes, sir.
And here I will write g equals to c, right? Now see, we don't have to compare c and b. Why? Because when this is true, that means a b से बड़ा है और ये false हो गया है, so obviously c b से भी बड़ा रहेगा, है ना? From this example you can understand. 21 greater than 15, true. Then 21 greater than 25, false. That means this c should be greatest, so we have written that. Okay, else. Now अगर ये false होता है तो let's say we have 12 here. Okay, so ये अगर false होता है, then what you have to compare? You have to compare b and c. Okay, ये अगर false है, that means b is greater. अब b greatest है क्या, तो उसके लिए हमें c के साथ कंपैरिजन करना पड़ेगा. तो कंपैरिजन करना है तो if लिखना पड़ेगा, राइट? सो b c से भी बड़ा है क्या? वो a से तो बड़ा है, that's why we have fallen in else block, राइट? तो अगर वो c से भी बड़ा है, that means g must be equals to b, राइट? ओके, अगर ये फॉल्स होता है तो इसको पहले ग्रेटेस्ट बना देते हैं. लेट्स से दिस इज 35, ठीक है? तो व्हाट हैपेंड? सो 12 ग्रेटर देन 35. ऐसे क्वेश्चन के टाइप आप उसको ये कीजिए, रीड कीजिए. 12 ग्रेटर देन 35, फॉल्स. ओके, सो यू विल गो इन एल्स. Then I'm checking B with C. B is 35. 35 greater than 25? True. So G is 35. Okay. Else, अगर ये छोटा है तो let's say this is 21. Okay. So 12 greater than 21. ये condition देखो क्या है? 12 greater than 21? False. So we'll come here. B की वैल्यू है 21. 21 greater than 25? False. That means अपना जो G रहेगा that will be C, right? Okay, so we have a logic now. So अभी हमारे पास सिर्फ हमें वो एक्स्ट्रा पार्ट लिखना है. So we write test, right? Execution always start with main method. So we have to write the main method. So public void, public static void main string args arguments, right? देखो, this is, see, this is the main logic, right? You should be able to build this logic on paper. Okay, always write your program starting with this, and this is like a ceremonial code. Okay, ये क्या है? ये एक्स्ट्रा कोड है, ये एक्स्ट्रा कोड है, इसको ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं है. आपको जब, यानी आपको प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल आनी चाहिए, ठीक है? ये है प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग स्किल, आपको ये कोड लिखते आना चाहिए, ठीक है? बाकी कोड तो क्या है, सिमिलर ही रहेगा. ओके, तो अब यहाँ पे हम वेरिएबल डिक्लेयर करेंगे a इक्वल्स टू let's say 12, then B equals to 21 और C इक्वल्स टू 25, यही एग्जांपल। और हम एक्सपेक्ट कर रहे हैं कि G की वैल्यू 25 होनी चाहिए, ठीक है। अब इसको थोड़ा फॉर्मेटिंग कर देते हैं। नाउ व्हेन यू पुट दिस टैब, दिस प्रोसेस इज नोन एज व्हाट?
Indentation.
यस, वेरी नाइस। दिस इज नोन एज इंडेंटेशन, ठीक है। ये इंडेंटेशन का फायदा क्या है? कंपाइलर को कुछ फायदा होता है क्या?
नहीं।
नहीं, कंपाइलर को कुछ फायदा नहीं होता है। अपने अंडरस्टैंडिंग के लिए हम इंडेंटेशन करते हैं। यू कैन राइट योर एंटायर प्रोग्राम इन वन लाइन, एक ही लाइन में लिख सकते हो, नो प्रॉब्लम, बिकॉज वी हैव द सेमीकोलंस टू सेपरेट द सेंटेंसेस। ओके, दिस इज फॉर अवर रीडेबिलिटी, ठीक है। इससे हमें पता चलता है कि कौन सा पार्ट किसके अंदर है, नेस्टिंग पता चलती है। सो दिस मेथड इज एंटायरली इनसाइड दिस क्लास। ओके, ये एक्स्ट्रा पार्ट है, इसको निकाल देते हैं। विल राइट द कमेंट जावा प्रोग्राम टू फाइंड द greatest between three numbers, ठीक है। Okay, so we have defined the three variables. So this is what? This is declaration plus initialization. Okay, G का सिर्फ declaration हुआ है, उसका initialization नहीं हुआ है, ठीक है। So this is my declaration plus initialization. Initialization यानी कि assigning the initial value to the variable, ठीक है। So the expected outcome is among these three C is the greatest. So G का value print करना है, okay। So system dot out dot println greatest number is, ये तो एक मैसेज है सिंपल, राइट। सो जी, ओके। सो cmd,
सर वो ब्रैकेट कम पड़ रहे.
हाँ, yes। Now one thing I miss is I'm writing a single statement here, okay, so I can drop these brackets, okay, yes। So we have to go to that directory, so I will copy this path, okay। First change the directory, drive, then cd, and I have to write java c and program 6 greatest 3. Okay, I have one error. Line number 30, reach end of the file while parsing. So something is wrong. हाँ, मेन मेथड एक और कम हो गया, ये मेन मेथड का क्लोजिंग और क्लास का क्लोजिंग। Okay, and I have written a class test. So Java test. Greatest number is 25. Okay, now it is working for one input. Okay, but you have to check for all kinds of input. Okay, so now A is greatest, so 125. I'm expecting 125. So compile, run 125. What if two numbers are repeated? This is one kind of input, right? It should work for this also. So expected outcome is 125. Yes, it is working. What if I have all three repeated? It is working. Now, if it is in decreasing order, okay, 12, 15, 18. If it is not working for a single input, that means you have a problem in your program. Okay, so what you have to do, you have to write this test cases. Okay, all possible combinations of inputs, and then evaluate whether it is working or not. Now this is 12, 15, 15. Last two numbers are repeated. Okay, 15 is the expected answer. Yes, I'm getting the 15. Okay, so you have to write all the test cases possible. Okay, it will be a combination of all possible inputs. Okay, and then you uh, test. Okay, what if I give negative numbers? Okay, two numbers are negative, it should work fine. The greatest number is 12. Okay, now can we write a same program using ladder, else if ladder?
Yes, sir.
Let us modify this code for else if ladder, and it will be easier there. Okay, if बहुत ही easily हो जाएगा, if a greater than b and a greater than c also. Okay, अगर ये होता है तो ये दोनों से बड़ा है तो द ग्रेटेस्ट वुड बी ए. ठीक है, एल्स इफ, ये पूरा ही मिटा देता हूँ. एल्स इफ बी, बी के लिए टेस्ट करते हैं. बी ग्रेटर देन, ओके, बी एंड बी ग्रेटर देन सी, तो बी बड़ा रहेगा, राइट? एल्स जी सी. Okay, if a is greater than both, then greatest is a. If b is greater than both, then greatest is b. Else, obviously, c will be greatest. Let us test this. So this is my program number 7. Greatest 3, greatest between 3 using else if ladder. So ladder. Okay. Compile this program. So this is 7 number, greatest between 3, and Java C test. Greatest number is 12. Okay, so 12. Okay, now if I make it 12, mm, okay, so here the expected outcome is 15. So let us check this. 15 greater than false. Okay, what I'm checking, whether should we write the greater than equals to or greater than will work. Okay, because when you have the repeated numbers, let's say 12 12. Okay, here what you are doing, a greater than b, so 12 greater than 12 false है ना, ये false हो जाएगा तो and है तो total ये wrong ही हो जाएगा, right? ये false हो जाएगा तो ये भी false हो जाएगा अगर greatest a and b नहीं होगा, and c will be yes. Now for this case it will fail. Okay, we should get 11 as the output. Let us see. Yes, greatest number is 11. Okay, now what is the problem? The problem is in this operator. Okay, it should be equals to. Now it will handle that equality case. Okay, did you get that problem?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, it was checking whether 12 greater than 12. So it is false, right? So if it is false, then we have a logical AND, right? For logical AND, both should be true. Okay, so this was false and this was also false. Okay, so it was going in else branch. Now it should work now. The greatest number is 12. Let us take another input. So we have, let's say, minus 12 and okay. Okay, greatest number is 12. So we have covered, yes, okay. So nested if else syntax we have seen, the flowchart is also done. Okay, and we have written a program. Okay, so any doubt in if else? Anyone? Shall I repeat any program? Can we proceed? Anyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is my, so take a screenshot of this program number 7, greatest between 3 using else if ladder. Okay. Uh, then you should take a screenshot of this. Nested if else. Okay, and we have seen 6 number program. Take a screenshot of this. Okay, so we are starting the offline classes from tomorrow. Okay, so complete your notes. I'll be checking your notebooks. Yes. So take a screenshot of this. So we'll stop here and we'll resume our class at 10:50. Okay. I'm taking Manaksha sir's class, and there we will start with for loop, while loop, and do while loop. Okay. Syntax is same. We'll be seeing 2, 3 programs. Okay. So just mark your attendance for this class.